Thank you, Jason. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First up is roll call.
Okay, Council President Perez.
Here.
Councilmember Van.
Here.
Councilmember Benedetti.
Here.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Here.
Councilmember McIrvin.
Here.
Councilmember Prince.
Here.
And Councilmember Corman.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Okay, thank you. First up, we have a couple of proclamations.
Okay, proclamation. This one is our commitment to an inclusive community that rejects stigma and bias related to COVID-19. Whereas in 2017, Renton City Council adopted a proclamation affirming our belief that an inclusive community is fundamental in building a supportive community and promotes mutual respect and appreciation for all people represented within its community. And whereas since the outbreak of COVID-19, immigrant and refugee community leaders and civil rights organizations have reported a regional and national increase in bias, harassment, and hate crimes, particularly against Asian American, African American, Hispanic, and other marginalized communities. And whereas misinformation about coronavirus propagates fear that hurts people and impairs the ability of our first responders and other city services to provide necessary response to COVID-19. And whereas each of us has the ability to promote inclusiveness, celebrate diversity, support all fellow community members, prevent the spread of misinformation, and reject hate and bias in all forms. And whereas the City of Renton rejects racially based bias, harassment, and hate crimes due to COVID-19, will not tolerate discrimination of any kind, and denounces all COVID-19 related misnaming, blaming, and harassment based on race, ethnicity, physical ability, socioeconomic status, gender preference, sexual orientation, age, or religion. And whereas we ask community members who observe or are experiencing incidents of discrimination, harassment, or hate crimes to call 911 to report the incident, whether it is deemed an emergency or not. Now therefore I, Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim our commitment to an inclusive community that rejects stigma and bias related to COVID-19 in the City of Renton, and I urge all Renton residents to treat each other with respect and work together to overcome all expressions of hate and bigotry, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 4th day of May, 2020, signed Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Council President Perez.
I move that the council adopt the proclamation as read.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Perez and seconded by Councilmember Van that the proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, proclamation passes. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Council
if
President.
I may.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to my colleagues for passing the proclamation and your commitment to an inclusive community that rejects stigma and bias related to COVID-19. It means a lot to our communities, and I thank you for that.
Absolutely. This proclamation really speaks to who we are as a community, and I think we're well served to let the broader community know our standing on this. So thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, next we have another proclamation. This is Public Service Recognition Week. Whereas the residents of the City of Renton are served every single day by public servants at the federal, state, county, and city levels, and whereas without these public servants at every level, continuity would be impossible in a democracy that regularly changes its leaders and elected officials, and whereas public servants protect the health, safety, and welfare of our city's residents, visitors, and employees, and whereas public employees take not only jobs, but solemn oaths. And whereas many public servants, military personnel, police officers, firefighters, aid workers, healthcare professionals, and many others risk their lives each day in service to our communities. And whereas public servants also include teachers, doctors, scientists, nurses, safety inspectors, laborers, engineers, technicians, social workers, and countless other occupations whose services are critical at this time. And whereas their tireless efforts are especially meaningful today during the COVID-19 pandemic, and whereas day in and day out they continue to fulfill the normal work of government, even at personal risk and even in a global pandemic, to provide the essential services needed by our communities with efficiency and integrity, these unsung heroes do the work that keeps our city operating safely. And whereas public employees commit to a cause beyond themselves to make a difference in the lives of all people and a lasting contribution to our city, state, and nation. Now therefore, I, Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim May 3rd through 9th, 2020, to be Public Service Recognition Week in the City of Renton, and I encourage all members of the community to recognize the accomplishments and contributions of government employees at all levels, federal, state, county, and city. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 4th day of May, 2020, signed Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Van.
I move the proclamation be read as adopted, be adopted as read.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Van, seconded by Councilmember Corman that the proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Administrative report is up next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, council members. I have 3 items for you tonight. First of all, the City of Renton invites sidewalk chalk artists of all ages and abilities to take part in the first Chalk Your Walk on May 4th through the 10th. The city's Recreation and Neighborhoods Division created the event to encourage neighborhoods to decorate their sidewalks, driveways, and to entertain and bring joy. For inspiration, the city offers daily themes, but creativity and individuality are encouraged. Artists are encouraged to share their chalk artwork on social media using hashtag Let's Go Chalk RTN. Second item is an update from the state. The City of Renton is estimated to receive approximately $3.141 million in a direct distribution of the Federal CARES Act dollars through the state of Washington. And those are restricted dollars, essentially for reimbursement to COVID-19 related expenses. They can't replace any lost tax revenue as a result of the pandemic. The state essentially decided on a per capita formula with a distribution of $30 per person and a minimum distribution of $25,000 per municipality statewide. And lastly, a little bad news. Due to the extended stay home, stay healthy order, Henry Moses Aquatic Center will not open this summer, and the beaches will not have lifeguards on duty. There will be signage and other measures to protect the public if large gatherings are allowed. This was unfortunately part of the city's budget saving recommendation, but given the uncertainty going forward, is one of the decisions that had to be made soon, and so we went ahead and made that.
Great. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Corman.
can I ask for clarification? I know the community will be interested in this. The beaches, so we won't have lifeguards. Do we know yet whether they'll be open to swimming?
Yes, we can actually ask Kelly Beamer. Kelly.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Corman, we don't know yet if the beaches will be open. We don't know what the governor's what timing the phasing will be. So if we do open the beaches, we do have ways to try to ensure that the public's safe. I would imagine that the social distancing and probably smaller crowds will be potentially allowed, and we'll work through whatever orders come down through the governor.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay, next up normally would be audience comment. In response to COVID-19, council members are attending this meeting remotely. Due to security concerns, the video conference identification number is not being shared publicly. City Hall is closed, so no in-person comments will be accepted. However, residents are encouraged to participate in a variety of ways. First, residents may submit comments in advance to cityclerk@rentonwa.gov. Second, residents may also call in to 425-430-7171, then enter code 0033665# to listen to the proceedings. Third, residents may view the proceedings live on Renton's Channel 21. And fourth, residents may view proceedings live at renton.gov/streaming. Okay, next up we have consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Council President Perez.
I move that the council concur with the consent agenda as published.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I actually have an item I need to pull. I'm just trying to pull up my agenda real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I want to pull item F from the consent agenda.
Okay? So I move that the council concur with the consent agenda minus item F,
Yes.
as published.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved by Council President Perez and seconded by Councilmember Corman that the consent agenda, that the council concur with the consent agenda minus item F. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Councilmember Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Instead of having this position that we filling due to untimely loss of Dave Christensen go through committee, I just want us to go council third tonight.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that this position of Public Works Administrator go through council concur. All in favor, say aye.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I want to clarify. It's for a wastewater utility engineer, number F.
Oh.
That'll be on-
Your manager, sorry.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Sorry.
Do we need to retake that vote, or is that vote still good because it's item F?
The vote's okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, next up is unfinished business. Council President Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Van.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor, but I want to just thank Kelly Beamer and her team for an outstanding presentation today and all the hard work through this process during COVID-19. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Councilmember Benedetti.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember O'Halloran.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember McGurven.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Corman.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Fantastic. Okay. Next up, we have legislation. We have one resolution and an ordinance for second and final reading.
Okay, the resolution is regarding an amendment to the 2019-2020 fee schedule. A resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, amending the 2019-2020 City of Renton fee schedule.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Prince.
I move we adopt it as read.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, next is an ordinance for second and final reading. It is also regarding an amendment to the budget. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, amending the City of Renton fiscal years 2019-2020 biennial budget as adopted by ordinance number 5898 in the amount of $137,996,543.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Prince.
I move the ordinance be adopted as read.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Prince and seconded by Councilmember Corman. This ordinance requires a roll call.
Okay, Council President Perez.
Aye.
Councilmember Van.
Aye.
Councilmember Benedetti.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Aye.
Councilmember McIrvin.
Aye.
Councilmember Prince.
Aye.
And Councilmember Corman.
Aye.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all ayes.
Okay, next up we have new business. Council President Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, May 11 at 5:30, we will have the Committee of the Whole via video conference. We have 3 items on the agenda. First is facilities condition update. Second, fourth floor virtual tour. And third, emerging issues in Committee of the Whole. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember Van.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember Benedetti.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember McGurven.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on Monday, May 11th, the Finance Committee will meet at 3:30 p.m. via video conference. And we have one item on the agenda, vouchers. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next up is Councilmember Corman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of items. First is I'd like to announce a Planning and Development Committee meeting for Monday, May 11th at 4:15 p.m. It's video conference. 3 items on the agenda: docket number 14, docket number 15, and emerging issues in CED. And then the next item is, I think in Committee of the Whole, if I understood President Perez's suggestion, I think her intent was to refer the subject of affordable housing to the Planning and Development Committee to sort of work over some of the final details. I'm kind of seeing some nods ahead, so I think I understood that correctly. So with that, I would move the topic of affordable housing into the Planning and Development Committee.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the topic of affordable housing be moved into the Planning and Development Committee. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay,
And that's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Let's see, what's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Council President Perez that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Fastest meeting in history.
May the 4th be with you.
Right.